I can keep this video moving. I'm trying to keep it a little tidy. If I missed something, let me know. And we can go from there. All right, so that was TPG. So we've done Go HPW and TPG. Now on to BML. BML is a diet I've never made before, so I'm going to follow it as closely as I can to what Bourbon told me. I may mess something up or the order up, and if anybody has questions, please contact her. She is the creator of the diet. And it's very important to find the ingredients specified. So this is Octavia mixed berry, and then the juice, it's Parents' Choice. And she says it's best to just do 2 batches at one time because most people have 2 gliders. One of the apple juicy juice, this, and I was able to find these 2 items in the children's section, along with the chicken, oh, I don't want those eggs to fall, along with the chicken baby food. Okay, so this is an example of the chicken baby food. So this was in the children's section. Now the juicy juice was in the juice section, so you have to really look, because ours was actually tucked behind other stuff, so it took me a little while to find it. But all this stuff I was able to find at the Walmart. There's wheat germ, and then we call it the blue one, vitamins, and then the pink ones, vitamins. Okay, so please make sure if you're doing this diet, please, please, please follow it to what it specifically says. It's very important. If you're altering it, you're not really feeding the diet. Okay, and then eggs. Since we're doing a double batch, it's 2 eggs, and then the fruits and the vegetables on this one are more strict. This is what she told me I needed to use. It can be a different brand, but it's carrots, green beans, corns, and peas. It's not the one with lima beans. All right. Okay. So yes, Candace, actually to help with teeth too, a Happy Glider has a pellet that I always leave a couple of the pellets in their little container, so that way they have something to chew on. If you use Aaliyah Holloway, and when ordering for Happy Glider, a lot of times you can get the 10% discount on that. And so yes, doing those things, crunchy bits, does help with doing teeth, and I always keep something in my cage. Everybody varies on what it is, but I always keep something in my cage to be able to help with the teeth. Since this is an educational video, I'm not going to necessarily go into the opinions on the different diets. This is more so to see which one fits your lifestyle and your glider's lifestyle better. But if you'd like to PM me, I can discuss some of that with you. And Candace, yeah, that's why I like to do those big mixtures as I rotate between them, and it really helps me see. I numbered the containers, like this one was a number 9, but I didn't have enough room in the freezer. So I number the containers so I can see what mix they like the best and what fruits and vegetables they like out of that mix. For the lettuces, I really find that they like the bok choy, which has a really good texture to it, and then the Napa cabbage. All right, so cool. I'm going to start out with how she told me, and again, I'm trying to do this closest to what she had recommended. I am by all means not a professional. Okay, so I'm just going to grab 2 little glass containers. Okay, so this is the BML. Again, we're doubling this to keep it simple. Okay, when you double it, you can just use one full container of this, one full container of this, so that way you're not trying to scoop out half and deal with that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mix the wheat germ. And since we're doubling this, it's going to be a half cup. I gotta rinse my half cup out. And any questions you have, please reach out to the makers of these diets. I am not encouraging one over the other. I just want you all to see what goes into each diet. And you don't want to mix in between them. Like, you don't want to do BML one day. You don't want to do TPG another day. You don't want to do that. You want to stick with a diet that works for you and your crew. So it's a half cup since we're doubling. So I'm going to pour a half cup. And she says she likes to mix this with the vitamins together first so it's all intertwined. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. We've got that. And then for the vitamins, I got these at PetSmart. Actually, Whitney got these at PetSmart. She was helping me gather all the supplies. Okay. So let me just show you what this powder looks like. This is a calcium with vitamin D. Okay. It's really fine and ground up. What do I plan on doing with the food? You know, I'm not 100% sure. I was going to freeze it and then just see what I do with it. I've got a couple boys who really like TPG, so maybe I'll feed them TPG for a while and just go back to using it. I've got a whole bunch of vitamins for TPG, so it makes sense to do that. And then also with the BML, it's really nice, especially if you have a glider that has an injury. Doing the BML diet really seems to help build up the immune system and the calcium in it to help a glider with the healing process. So this is the vitamins for this one. Okay. And so now, like I said, just give me a few seconds. 2 teaspoons of the blue. Okay, so I've got my teaspoons. This is actually half teaspoon. So I'm going to do 4 of these half teaspoons. I don't keep a lot of measuring things in here. So 3, 4. Okay, so we got 2 teaspoons of the blue. Oops, actually, I'm sorry, I just messed up. It's 4 teaspoons of the pink. I was working out of the pink container, so I'll have to do more of that. 1, 2, 3. That's weird. 4. Okay, so this can be easy to do. I guess that's, you know, with a live, it'll be out here forever. But it's really important to make sure you're re-looking at your labels. So I've got now 4 teaspoons of the pink in here. And now I will do my 2 teaspoons of the blue. Okay, so blue. So always double check yourself. You do not want to give the improper amount of vitamins, okay? So 4 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons when you're doing a double batch. The infant juice I was able to find at Walmart in the children's section. So try and check there to see if that helps you with finding it. I've heard a lot of people say it. It was actually pretty easy for me to find. So just check the parent's choice in the children's section. That's where I got the baby food and that's where I got the rice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this all together and really get this mixed up. And then I'm going to set this off to the side and continue on with the diet. I'm sure this goes a lot quicker when you've made this more. I've not made this before, so I'm really trying to make sure I follow the directions that was by the creator of the diet. Sorry, I've got messages coming in as I'm doing this, not through the video, but through other things on Facebook. Okay, so I put that off to the side, and now I'm going to continue. She said, get your blender. Okay, I'm gonna put the vegetables back here since I'm not going to need this for the mix. The vegetables is done each day, and it's off to the side. You don't put it in the ice cube tray, you only do the mixture in the ice cube tray. And it's a tablespoon per glider. Okay, so now I've got the vitamins are mixed and off to the side. Now I'm going to blend 1 cup of honey. And she said, do not, stuff's like tipping over here. A piece of fabric fell and it knocked over something else. Okay. Yes, thank you, Dawn. That's correct. Dawn feeds the BML and probably would be doing this a lot quicker than me. So I'm going to be doing a cup since we're doubling this. I get so many questions every single day about diets, and I just thought if you guys can each see what diet it each has, it will help you in seeing what you can find locally or what you're comfortable with ordering. If you are ordering stuff, just understand the post office is not always as reliable with everything going on with this virus, so plan ahead. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you don't have the ingredients needed to feed them. Okay, so we've got our cup of honey. And then she said mix your fruit juice, which is 4 ounces, so a half a cup. So fruit juice, half cup. And then my 4-ounce container of mixed berry Octavia. And again, I was able to find everything at Walmart. Okay. Woo, it split out the end. Don't squeeze the container. It just cracked and spit out everywhere on me. It's kind of gross. It split on both sides, so my hand's covered with it. Hold on. So don't squeeze the container unless you want it splotting out at you, because it just let loose all over my hand. And I'm going to scrape this because there's always a lot of good stuff left over in here. It's a very brittle container for some reason. Very weird. I almost want to lick this because there's so much left in here, but I won't. Alright, so now we've got that. And then she said to turn on the blender. Okay, so I will do as instructed. Turn it on. Okay, so I'm just going to let this mix. I'll shut it off so I can talk. I don't know if you guys can hear me. So now she also says mix your fruit juice, or let the blender stay on, okay, which I normally would do when I'm trying to talk to you. And then it says mix in wheat germ, vitamins, and minerals. So I'm going to find a way of pouring it in here. So I'm going to keep it on. kind of messy. It just spurts out at me. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't want it spitting out everywhere. I don't have a lower level. I'm already at my lowest. I'll mix it. The key is that I believe that we don't want clumping. So sprinkling it and doing that where there's not going to be chunks of it is what we're looking for in this. Another reason why I wanted to do this diet is because the other two diets require you to order vitamins, and this one is stuff that you can all find locally, so it's nice to have different options. Just about done with this portion of it. I just want to make sure I'm doing it the way I was instructed from by Bourbon. And if I mess something up a little bit, I apologize. I'm trying to do the best I can with doing this accurately. Alright, so this is the last of it. And I'm not seeing any chunks, so that's what I'm looking at having. Okay, and then for me to be able to talk, I'm turning this off, but again, she says to just keep your blender going when you're making it. Now I'm going to add the 4 jars of baby food. Just trying to get out all the chicken I can. I got those done. I'm going to see if I can scrape any of this out. Yeah, actually a lot comes out. So I'm not sure if you guys care or not, but to me it's worth it to scrape it out so that way you're really getting all the stuff out of here. It turns out to be quite a bit that you're able to scrape out of the 4. And we're trying to stay as true to the measurements as possible, so I would. It does have a smell to it, Nadia. You are correct. Makes you wonder, you know. Chicken smells good. How come it doesn't when it's in a jar? Okay, so now I've gotten all that out. Don't want to waste any. And it turned out to be 1/3 of a jar. I don't know if you could see that. So it's real important. Make sure you get all the stuff out that you can. Okay? I'm going to just toss these real quick. I don't want all the clutter up here. Okay. And then I'm going to just mix it. And while this is mixing up, I'm going to do the baby cereal. baby cereal. It's 1 cup. So I'm going to do 1 cup in my measurement. And then to get an accurate one, just make sure you're down eye level. Okay? And then what she says she does is she's then using the baby juice and mixes that together. Should I add scissors up here? Let me see if this knife will work. Whoop. Whoop. And so I'm using the whole, made a mess, the whole bit juicy juice apple, and I'm mixing this together. One heck of a cleanup when I'm done with this. There's easier ways to do this container. It's just I didn't do that. It would have been better to have scissors. And then you mix it all up so that way it's all blended together. Turns into a thicker consistency. I just don't want there to be the powder towards the bottom. I want it all mixed up into one texture. Sorry, I'm probably showing you all my double chin by the angles I'm at. I'm just really thick texture. Okay, so then I'm also going to use the 2 eggs that have been scrambled. And add this mixture and the 2 eggs into the blender and let it all blend until it's mixed together. Okay, and I've got my 2 eggs here. Again, I pre-cook my eggs because my chickens lay during the summer and fall and spring, not during the winter. So I pre-cook my eggs and pre-measure. But it's 2 eggs. If anybody's wondering, I said that it's 2 eggs earlier, but it's 2 eggs. And then I'm adding this mixture. And it was very thick. Get all of it in there. Okay. And then I'm going to let this blend for quite some time and get it all mixed together. And again, you put about 2 tablespoons per cube. So it's 1 cube per glider. And then you want to do 1 tablespoon of vegetables per glider. So I'm going to reconfirm that, the amounts, but I'm going to let this mix right now. Okay, and I asked her Bourbon if there's any different directions for pregnant moms. She said no, just give more of the mix. If they're wanting to eat it, let them eat it. So that's something that's also important. Now for TPG, I'm not sure if there's anything different when it comes to pregnant moms. And then with Wombaroo, you double the powder amount, okay? So now I'm going to pour this into a container so you can see the texture. Let me put my container somewhere. And I can't remember where. Hold on. Put them up out of the way. And then, all right, let me rethink. I just had the containers. That's bizarre. Hold on. Oh, there they are. Sorry about that. I covered them up with some of my flooring. All right, so I'm going to pour this out. And what she said to do is just pour it into the ice cube trays, and then each night give one of the cubes with a tablespoon. So I'll clear this out after, but let me show you the consistency of this. Okay, and then you give alongside a tablespoon per glider of this mix. Doesn't have to be this brand. You can get this at Costco also. She also just said make sure it's not the one with the lima beans. Okay, I can't find Parents' Choice. All right, let me flip through my messages real quick and see if there's been questions. So that way, I think Dawn answered about where you can get it. So April, I'm not sure why you can't find it at Walmart. Maybe try and look on Amazon or the grocery store, but it was actually pretty easy for me to find. So maybe checking a different Walmart. I'm not quite sure. We have like 4 or 5 in this town, so we have it pretty readily available. If you do ever have questions, and I tell everybody, go back to Bourbon, talk to Bourbon about it, and she'll help you find an alternative. I was able to find everything in the store, so I think that's about it. So again, any questions that you have, please, it's 1 cube per glider, and I'm going to reconfirm that with Bourbon once I'm finished up. And she said just using a standard ice cube tray, not the really big ones, not the really small ones, to help be that measurement, and then doing the mixture of vegetables on the side. Okay, so thanks everybody. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. Again, this is Go HPW, gets frozen, and then each night 1.5 teaspoons per glider, alongside a good mixture of fruits and vegetables. These are the ones I pre-cut. Okay, it's 1 tablespoon per glider of fruits and vegetables, so I would give 2 tablespoons each. Okay, so 1 tablespoon per glider of fruits and vegetables. Okay, so it would be 2 tablespoons, 1 for fruit, 1 for vegetable per glider. Okay, then we've got TPG. The fruits and vegetables are already mixed in here. And when you freeze it, you can freeze it in 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons, because that's what you give each glider per night. And then with the BML, this is a mixture. It's got the meats and stuff already in it, the fruit juice. And so it's 1 ice cube per glider per night, alongside these. And it's also very important to remember, for the TPG, you have to have the TPG vitamins. Okay, this is the TPG vitamins. They are not getting the nutrition they need unless this is added to the top of this, and this is kept in the fridge until you're ready to use. Okay, thanks so much, guys. I'm going to clean this up and I'll talk to you later. Hopefully this helps some of you. Bye. Oops, hold on. Oh, I'm so terrible at this. Ah! I'll eventually